Joe Albano, a Boston native, began his musical journey at the age of 14 under the guidance of saxophonist Ray DeNice. A graduate of Berklee College of Music, Joe has studied with jazz greats including George Garzone and Joe Lovano and JoAnne Brackeen. He's also studied with accomplished composers such as Greg Hopkins. Known for his eclectic improvisational style, Joe seamlessly blends jazz, rock, classical, and modern influences. He combines technical mastery with raw emotional depth. His unique artistry continues to push boundaries across all genres, and I'm looking forward to catching up with him today. Joe, good to see you, my friend.
It is great to see you too, Abe.
I mean,
Wonderful. Wonderful to be here. I like the set, by the way. It looks really good.
it looks
Looks
professional,
really good.
right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'm some trying to be professional, but if it looks that way, it also works too. So, I'm very happy you got a chance to speak with me today. And Joe, I was thinking about this. We met in Boston at Berklee College of Music, the
Oh, yeah.
Berklee College of Computers, right?
Hey, you saw the new building they put up, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks
That
completely different now.
and there was so many people that got salty because they tore down. There used to be a Korean buffet, and I just remember everybody grumbling about that for literal years after.
Yeah,
Just
when I went
grumbling
back
because, yeah.
in 2019, when I went back, it was like I didn't even recognize it, to be honest.
Oh no, 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 no. It's I haven't been throughout the whole building because they don't let us filthy alumnuses. They don't let us roam freely anymore. But it's they got like recording studios and they have like all sorts of stuff. There's like the cafe on the first floor. It's nuts, man. Like there is a lot of money in there.
Well, yeah, I mean, well, you've been in Boston for a long time. I know you've kind of bounced around a little bit
Yeah, for sure, for
over the
sure.
years, and everything, but Boston is where you're at base now. How do you feel the scene is in Boston as a jazz musician who just wants to get out there and play? When I was a student, I was like, there really aren't the opportunities there should be, not just because of all the teachers who try to play gigs, I guess, but there just didn't seem like there were a lot of places to just go out and play, even if it was, more about the experience than the money. I mean, can you talk a little bit
True.
about the scene today?
Well, yeah, the thing with Boston is like I grew up here. I'm from here. I grew up here. Yeah, I bounced around in New York and LA, but I wound up back here, just a little bit before the pandemic hit. But Boston people, there is a lot of places to play, but the thing with Boston is you have to get out of Boston. You need a car. There's we play several places. You got to be willing to like go to New Hampshire, which is about a 45-minute drive. Or we've been playing this place. There's a group I'm in, started by a friend of mine, probably the first dude I met at Berklee. His name's David Andrew Moore. Did you ever meet him by
He's
any chance?
the drummer, right?
Drummer, yeah, 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 yeah. He's a great drummer. He's a very good friend of mine, and Greg Toro, also bass player, is fantastic. Those are my like ride or die guys here. Yeah, I've known him forever, and it's good to have that kind of rapport when you're especially with bandmates because when you're with I'll get back to Boston in a second. Well, when you're with a band is like a marriage almost. And it's like, yeah, I did a lot of freelance stuff, but when it's different when you have the same group of dudes or whoever that you've been playing with for years and years and years and years because you you learn about each other and then you can start kind of like I can't surprise them. It's not like I'll bring in all this weird session killers, all these session killer like charts and stuff, and they're not gonna freak out or anything. They know I'm gonna do. We know each other. We trust each other musically, and it makes a more positive experience for us and for whoever would be listening. But we've been playing at there's not many places around anymore. I'm
Well,
not
let
going
me
to
let me just say
sugarcoat it.
what you've been
Yeah.
playing with Greg for close to 20 years.
Yeah, I
Probably.
met him. We had a very interesting tour. We sort of a tour. I you should interview him, man, because he has plenty of stories
Well, if
and
he
I
wants to
they were
do it, I'm down. I'm
oh
down.
hell yeah. Yeah, yeah. He would be a good guy to talk to, but we did a disastrous mini tour of Europe. Just we got to this is how friendships are forged, by the way, among musicians. We get to Paris. We're in Paris and then the person who was supposed to be booking the gigs so anyway my uncle, uh-oh, your uncle, This is why you have all the details beforehand. We were all like 20, 19, 20, 21. We're stupid. You're a kid. You're dumb. Well, I was, but maybe not other kids. But so we get to Paris. I'm in Paris. We're at a hotel that we had to book ourselves, mind you, because that's the thing. When you're touring, it's not like some record label is going to come and swoop you up and take you all over the world. Like a lot of these people don't realize that you play festivals, you do all this stuff, you got to pay out of pocket. You got to pay your musicians. I mean, maybe the festival gives you a guarantee, but a lot of the stuff is coming out of your own pocket. Like people kind of forget that, and they think like the life of a musician is just people chucking money at you and that. But anyway, sorry.
No, but after no, but
I've
after
got
travel costs and taxes and everything,
well,
you're walking away
yeah,
with like, come on. I mean,
tax.
yeah.
Fuck the tax man cometh. You get obliterated. But anyway, we're at the hotel. And we're just there. It's like, it'd sure be nice to play some gigs now. I wonder what's going on. So this kid apparently went through his uncle, who was like a classical music booker. And to be fair to him, they had booked like a couple of successful like mini tours like this with other Berklee bands. But for some reason, a ball was dropped and no gigs.
No
Nothing.
gigs.
Nothing. We're in Europe. We put a month, about a month, just because we had all tentative. Bye. We're just stuck there. So we had to go all over Paris trying to find work. We did not play Paris, but it was a very expensive vacation. But then we were in Germany, and luckily enough, both the bass player, Greg at the time, and then the drummer, so his name, Nick Anderson.
Yeah, yeah. I've been trying to do
Yeah.
something with Nick. Like I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
he's got to get in touch with me though. We were talking though. I know Nick. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
phenomenal drummer. But so they had family, or they had like family friends, and we ended up like we didn't play a note until like 2 weeks in. Then we get to the city in Germany called Ulm, which is apparently the birthplace of Albert Einstein. But he left when he was like, half a month old or something, but they still want to claim it anyway. It's got one of those massive, like 1,000-year-old churches and stuff. Some random like hippie guy ended up stopping us when we got to the train station there, because I guess Nick's family friend or something, they had a hotel so we could stay there at a discount. It was nice. But they ended up getting us playing. So we at least got to play. We had 3 gigs, which was better than 0. Which I think, if I remember my math correctly, 3 is bigger than 0. So
Yeah.
we got good. But I mean, it was just to be able to have that experience, however messed up it was. Yeah, that's you start. It's because it's not just about music; it's about interpersonal relationships and all that kind of thing. But anyway, the problem. Okay, so that's that. We're in, well, I got to go back to Boston because
No, but I'm glad you told the
yeah.
story because, a lot of young musicians, especially,
Oh, they have no idea what's in
yeah,
store
well,
for
and
them.
I don't think there's, listen, I mean, it's just something to do with technology and social media, but a lot of younger people, the sense of what entitlement might have gotten bigger than what we have thought. And they just,
Yeah.
but they don't understand, like, you're going to have the things that we had to do. Like, if they knew, like, they would not, you know what I mean?
It's like walking uphill both ways.
Yeah, like
It's like,
four guys, sharing,
oh,
spending in one room in a Days Inn in North Carolina, playing for, $50 after, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, just man, that's living the dream, man,
yeah.
living the dream. But so but anyway, so it's good to have those kind of relationships. But I got to get back to Boston because I go on a tangent. I got like this ADHD brain, so I go on a tangent and I forget what I'm trying to speak of. And it's a more important thing. We're talking about Boston. I loved Berklee as like a place I could go. I met some very close friends of mine to this day, some very close musical accomplices, if you would. But Boston is messed up because Boston is hyper saturated with musicians. No one's making much money. I mean, there are guys out there that are playing like the pops, they're doing like the theater work and all that. They're making some money, but
Corporate stuff.
everybody's like, yeah. There's a lot of like corporate wedding bands and stuff. But as far as like actual clubs where you can present like creative music, there's really not many. If you're staying in the Boston area itself, you have like Lily Pad for one. There's like some small art spaces. Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum is still doing concerts here and there, but in Boston, you have to have a car. And people underestimate it because you got all the students; they're all clustered into Boston and Cambridge, and maybe Arlington, where they all live. But one of the places, a lot of the places we play, the band is the trio I have with Toro and Greg Toro and Dave Moore is the Arcanauts. It's the drummers group. I got my own band when I get a chance to play. We last time I recorded was like 2009. It's almost 20 years ago, man. I'm getting old, but
Well, it costs
I
money.
tell
It costs money to record if you're not on a label, or you know what I mean. People don't
yeah.
understand.
Yeah, but there's not a lot of clubs. If you go on like Boston Jazz, it's like Jazz Boston or Boston Jazz. They have a list of all the clubs, and every year it's like it's shrinking.
Yeah.
So I mean, for us, for musicians, you have a couple of options. You can either dump all that money and resources into trying to tour, like, and we just did a little mini tour in Maine where we got to play some kind of remote, like remote cities. Like people underestimate how large of a state Maine is. But we played. Let me see. There was a club Blue, which is actually
Oh, in
great
Portland,
place to
yeah.
play. Yeah. So we played there a few times. There's like some breweries and stuff out there that we were able to do. But you can either dump all the money and resources into touring, or you can get extremely lucky and play with a touring band or like a traveling Broadway show. Personally, for me, I did a lot of playing on cruise ships, which when I was doing it was kind of a joke. You would get endless amounts of shit for doing that gig because, oh, you're out of the city, man. I was living in New York, going back and forth. It was a mess.
No,
It
I
was
did ships
fun.
too. I know. I mean,
Yeah. It was a mess, but it was a fun mess. I got
yeah,
stories. I've seen some shit, man.
yeah.
I've
I mean,
seen
I would never
some.
go on a cruise ship as vacation after the stuff I've seen.
Oh, geez. But so you could dump all that money and resources into touring, or you can do what all the young guys are doing now and start start an Instagram, start a TikTok, which might be going away. Apparently TikTok is shutting down, or the government's shutting it
They've
down.
been
I don't know.
saying that.
Yeah. But to get a social media presence going and to try and draw in listeners to yourself that way. So, you can start. For me, it was good because I was able to make contacts all over the country just by virtue of like, even if it wasn't like super successful, just by virtue of having it there, people are aware of you that would never be aware of you. So I can go to like Chicago and there's people for me to play with, or I can go to Kentucky and there's people for me to play with. There's gigs, work. It's not like huge money. It's not big touring stuff, but you're getting out there and you're going around and you're doing your thing. And for me too, it's like you and I both, we play creative music. It's a small niche thing to begin with. So it's like, yeah, it's just there's the amount of clubs that feature jazz is like this. The amount of clubs that are willing to feature the kind of stuff we like to do is like this. So it's more important than ever to start having that kind of social media presence, because like even to have some knowledge of recording too, to start learning how to record at least yourself, or to, you can see I've got the little setup here. We do rehearsals at the house. I can record. I had the drum kit there so I can learn how to record drums. I had the guys here. We've recorded demos and stuff, but to be able to do that, to start being able to present your own music, being able to control it like that. And then it's just like when you're a musician now, it's so messed up because you have 23 different jobs you have to be able to do. You have to be your own engineer. You have to be able to book yourself. and you need to be able to negotiate with the people you're trying to book with. You got to pay the guys. It's a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work, man.
I mean, you have to love it, and if you only like it or like it a lot, I would tell people don't do it. It's just not worth it.
Well, it's like with us, man. It's terminal though. We don't have a choice. We have to do it.
Yeah, I've been doing this on the podcast. I'm like trying to like get into people's heads about why do you do this? Like, what is it about it? And it's like everyone just says I have to do it. It's you. You know what I mean?
Well,
Uh,
like improvisation, like that. It's like a way for you to express your humanity, because it's the whole goal of this is not to be the best jazzer. It's not to be the best. It's to be able to I have a friend in California who put this the best way, is to express your humanity against a world that doesn't really need you to exist, but it's like a constant fight against
yeah.
the whole world
F you to the world in a sense sometimes,
not
right?
not necessarily fu, but it is a way for us to engage with the world on our own terms through our art. I would call. I hesitate to call what I do art, only because I don't think I'm the one who gets to make the call whether I'm an artist or not. I think that's for history to decide, and you never know.
Yeah, I mean, I think you make a good point. It's about trying to, it's our way of expressing ourselves in this world that's just a crazy place.
Yeah, yeah.
That,
And
and I remember the first time I heard you play. I mean, I've always thought you were, super talented and stuff. If I told you like a recording of Sam Raderman's senior recital, you're playing.
oh my god, I hope that guy's doing well. I like Sam a lot, man.
Well, we haven't spoken in about 10 or so years,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
but I know you played bass clarinet and on that.
Oh yeah, it was we played hold on. We played a Kurt Rosenwinkel, the cross. Man, I would love to play with that dude, man.
I mean, you should hit him up, I'm
Here's
not.
the thing. Yeah, it's like I'm a super. So for me, it's weird with the networking and with all of that, because I what do they call it? I think it's like I'm an extroverted introvert. It is, if I'm just talking to people, like I'm at the airport and there's some weird dude like on his like 18th breakfast beer, I can talk to that guy, no problem. For some reason, when it comes to like people who do the thing that I do, and I would like to do that thing with them, all of a sudden it's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
I was just like, why can I not talk to these people when I can talk to the guy who may or may not be a flight risk? I
No,
mean,
no,
I don't
I
know. I don't know.
understand
It's
what you're
weird,
saying,
man.
but as I've been doing this podcast and I'm speaking with so many, I mean, there's so many types of jazz musicians, like personality wise too. It's just
True,
you
true.
got to find the people you click with, and see you can just even have conversations like this with, because some people you speak to, like I don't know what this person is saying.
Oh, well, it's important too, because we're more than just the notes we play. We're human beings as well. We are part of this whole thing, So what we do is directly influenced by the world around us. And like I was thinking about this too. Like I was thinking of like fun and interesting things to say in the interview. But one of the things is especially with the way I play, it's it's a very subtle difference between the two things I'm about to say, but it's an important one. It's like I am my playing. I am, and I'm sure it's the same with you. We are the sum total of everything we experienced, listened to, practice, all of that. We are not, we don't play what we learned, practice, and experience. We are the sum total of that entire experience. So, I mean, my taste in music is you could say eclectic, because I like listening to, like, now the new thing is like breakcore. It's like or was it breakcore or was it something else? I'm getting off topic, but I'm listening to everything now. When I was in Berklee, I was like super. I was super. I'm just gonna listen to jazz, and I'm just gonna have my Anthony Braxton records, and I love Anthony Braxton, by the way. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just gonna have my Anthony Braxton, and I was studying with Garzone, so I was like really into that kind of like more free form free, they call it, some of the cool kids call it free bop, they, but like that kind of style, like this wild kind of post Coltrane kind of thing, and I was still, that's a big part of what I do. But also, like, I have so many more influences, like Japanese pop music, and like random, like what was the name of the just like Schoenberg, and like all sorts of random influences coming from all over. So it's all coming in, and I'm trying to push it out through my filter. And when I was younger, it was like I was a kid playing notes. So now, as I get older and mature a little bit in all ways, it's like I don't want now. I'm slowly starting to understand. It's not about just going out there, starting your Instagram, looking intensely in the camera, and playing everything. It's everything still has to be done with purpose. I don't want to make disposable content. It's me. I'm sharing me and my experience and everything through my own lens, of course. But so people, I'm screaming against the world that I exist.
Well, no, I love the stuff that you're saying too, and you also talked about your social media presence. It has to be you have a personality on YouTube and stuff. Anyone who hasn't looked up Joe's page, go look it up. He has some great videos. Let me ask you a question. Have people like reached out to you on like from your YouTube and stuff, and like wanted to get like lessons or anything like that, or anything like cool experiences come from the social media presence you could talk about? Because you have a identity on there too, which like you mentioned is just as important as the other stuff. It's, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? They all have their little roles of what we need to do as musicians, but how's the social media helped you? You know.
Well, it's just opened me up to a lot more people. And yeah, sometimes they ask you for lessons, but that's not the real goal. My goal is to just meet and interact with as many people as possible.
That's awesome.
Even people that aren't musicians, I don't care. I don't care anymore. You used to have this, when you're in college, you get this elitist mentality that, oh, what I do is so important. But then you're out in the world, and the world humbles you very quickly. So then that's how you mature. It's just part of getting older. But through like Facebook, even though Facebook's kind of dead now, unfortunately, but through Facebook,
MySpace.
through you, MySpace was so good. What a shame. But anyway, through all the social media, you're meeting people, you're reconnecting with people. More importantly, there's a lot of music, like a lot of the guys in my band. We all we recorded 2009 with a group in New York. Dave Cole, it was Aki Ishiguro, Dave Cole, Aki Ishiguro, Nick playing Nick on the bass, Nick Joswiak playing bass, and Steve Ruel. You remember Steve?
Yeah, what's he up to?
He's out in, I think he's in Arkansas right now. He's got like a farm. He's doing well. He's doing really well, but I think he wants to be with nature, and he's got a goat farm, and it's like he posts videos about it all the time.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
like,
he used to be around with Aaron Burnett, like,
I
and
saw that interview, man.
yeah.
I can't get Aaron Burnett is great. He's great, but it's so random with him because every time I go to New York to visit, without fail, it can be like 3:30 in the morning on the subway, and just like randomly, it's like, oh, hey, Joe. I haven't seen him. I haven't been to New York in a little while now. I haven't seen him in a minute, but it was like every time I would go, I would just run into him. He was like a constant. Like my visit to New York would not be complete if I didn't have a random Aaron Burnett encounter. But yeah,
Well, 'cause
I
I remember
like
he used
that
to
guy.
play with Steve on
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on Boylston Street.
Yep, yeah, 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 yeah. They used to do a lot. Oh, Boys Street was fun to busk on. But where was I? Because I got off topic.
We were
That's my
talking, no,
own
we were
fault.
talking about just the connections you make on social media, like how we reconnected. You saw my
Yeah,
video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's important to reconnect, to bring yourself to new people, to new listeners. Just because you can't live in your little bubble of playing like little jazz gigs around New York. They're cool and they're great experiences, but at the end of the day, it's like, you have to. if you want to assert yourself against the world, you got to get out into the world. You got to learn social skills. You got to. There's so much that goes into being human, a human being who plays music as a form of expression than just playing the music.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
not about the
you could be
notes.
the baddest musician in the world, but when you start, people are gonna have a hard time relating to you if you can't even connect.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah. And the other thing too, a way that that humbled me is that there's always going to be some 5-year-old kid somewhere in Eastern Europe that is just playing circles around you already. So it's not about being the best. It's not about, oh, am I he's not as creative as me. I play more creative. My stuff is mine. It's not like all that is like high school nonsense.
Yeah, that's all just.
It's about
I know what you're talking about. Like,
it's about the shared experience of making art and expressing yourselves for the hopeful delight of whoever is listening.
no, that's a really positive way to look at it because as musicians, we're always competing and stuff and comparing, which is just like a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, it's just a race to the end at this point. It's like forget it, just enjoy it. Like I was studying with Hal Crook for a while too. I forgot to put him in the thing. I didn't have many lessons with him, but every lesson you learn a ton of stuff. And but one of the things he says in all of his books is like it's about the process. The process is the thing. That's his quote. And it's like it makes perfect sense once you're experienced enough to really kind of understand what's going on. And it's just like it's not just about the practice and the listening and the composition and all that. It's about everything.
So yeah, I mean,
Absolutely everything is just a process.
and you're doing quite. It sounds to me like you're doing like a lot of different stuff. Can you kind of walk me through walk me through the weekend working because doing all sorts of different gigs like can it be going from like one gig to the other that's like entirely unrelated in a sense musically?
Well, sort of. I do a lot of the stuff I do. I record, as you could see, my ultra fancy microphone. You can't be the only guy with the fancy microphone. I gotta have one too. But I have it set up for recording here. I do a fair amount of recording at home. It's not like enough, but it is some good supplemental income that comes in when you get it. And it is an incentive for me to keep my skills sharp as far as reading and just it gives me a reason to want to practice, pull the horn up. You do like freelance gigs too. You do some weddings here and there and stuff. And then I right now though, what I really want to do, I want to focus on doing. I'm being the grumpy old man now. I want to do what I want to do. I don't want to necessarily play a ton of weddings anymore. I don't necessarily want to do this right now. Since the pandemic started, I had a day job. I work as an exterminator. So I'm going from playing this like crazy free jazz concert to pulling like poop covered dead rats out of a sewer pipe that burst in someone's basement. It's like it's so high and low, but it's a way to keep me grounded.
No,
So
I think even Liebman says like you got to have he talks in interviews about like double majoring in music and something else because nowadays
well, you
I
just
mean
you just
unless you don't want to like don't mind what your standards of living are, you know what I mean? It's just
yeah.
we have to make money.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got to survive, man. But I mean, it doesn't have to be a miserable experience. You don't have to be all grumpy because you had to take a day job because playing your weekly John Cage 433 concert, is not bringing in the millions of dollars a month that you were expecting it to. It's part of life, man. It's always up and down. Will it get better to the point where I won't have to necessarily like deal with dead rats and all that nasty stuff? I hope so. But the only thing you can really do is just, wake up in the morning, make your bed, you know, if you have nothing to do, get the instrument out, practice, at least hold it just so
Yeah,
you
yeah, and
can,
let me say this too because
yeah.
you know you're not you play so many different saxophones. You could, and multi-instrumentalist really and to do them
I
all.
got I just got that's my one of my newer acquisitions. I got the contrabass there. But yeah, it's just the doubling is a sickness. Like I originally, I didn't mean to cut you off, by the way. I'm sorry.
No, no,
I
no,
just
but
meant I
I'm
get
just saying
excited.
you do those things so well, and to do, to do to the day job and stuff, it's like you would never think someone with your skills like is, you know what I mean? You would think, oh, that must be all they do and stuff, but we have to
Yeah,
survive.
it's like,
It's what it
yeah,
is.
you got to, in order for me to continue doing the thing that feel is I feel is my main path through life. Yeah, sometimes it involves like, yanking some bugs out of someone's toilet. I don't know.
I get no, no, Joe. It's been so good to reconnect with you. We're gonna have to do it again. We're gonna have to play. But
I love this, man. I love this.
where
I
can
get so
everyone?
excited.
We're gonna do it again. I mean, I just keep my episodes like so, but we'll do it again 100%. Where can
Oh,
everyone
hell yeah.
find your Instagram, all that stuff, and social
Um,
media? Albano the
so
Madman, right?
yeah, I made sure that branding I knew it was working. I'll just do real quick because I know we gotta do our other things. But that Albano the Madman is a little interesting because when I was younger, everybody literally thought I was crazy. So it was like, okay, that's something. I need some kind of branding. And it didn't start sticking until I was in LA. I didn't realize that that was effective until I got to LA, and there was a friend of mine out there. He's a well-known like studio guy. He's like, "What's up, Madman? That's how you know you arrive." And that's it's maybe a little unconventional, but branding is branding. There's no, if it gets people talking, there's no bad branding. I don't think.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
so everything is under Albano the Madman. I even tried starting a Twitch, but that Twitch it's more for gamers,
Yeah,
So I like playing games, but
yeah. There's
I don't
24
need.
hours in a day, Joe. You know.
I know. There's so much. That's what we need is another 10 hours in the day, and I can get all that done. But anyway, so yeah, everything's under Albano the Madman.
Awesome.